Hey everyone, thank you for listening to The Farm. If you like our content, get entertained by it, then you can donate to our Patreon and contribute to The Farm. That can be reached at patreon.com/thefarmpod.
And if you want to stay up to date with the latest information and see any polls we put out or any information on a new episode, be sure to follow us on Twitter at The Farm Podcast. Thanks for listening.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Season 2 of The Farm. As you can see, we've added a few new elements. We had video. Cameron's in Cincinnati right now. I think the first main segment that's new is the GOAT of the Week. You want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So the GOAT of the Week is kind of an opportunity for us to talk about something that happened like pop culture or sports or music, television, kind of whatever is out there, just for us to have a brief discussion on who we think really deserves a shining spotlight in the week. So, Ben, do you want to start off with yours? The highly anticipated GOAT of the Week?
So, we're going to be talking about the GOAT of the Week at the start of every episode, and then we'll dive into the main topic. Today is TV personalities, but we'll get to that. So, I'll start off with my GOAT of the Week. Last night, Andy Ruiz Jr. beat Anthony Joshua by TKO in the heavyweight boxing title. So, I don't know if any of our listeners saw this, but basically Ruiz is this beefy dude, like a chungus.
He's a whole enchilada.
And Joshua's like shredded. He's jacked. He's the reigning champion.
Athlete, wasn't he?
Yeah. No, there's this side-by-side picture of them where he Joshua won a gold medal in 2012. And in 2012, Ruiz has this this mirror picture of himself. So good. So Ruiz was plus 1,100. Joshua was minus 2,500 to win. So
crazy.
It was a crazy upset. Anthony Joshua, before the match, he tweeted about to break the curse with a picture of Drake.
Oh, yeah.
And then he lost, and everyone's like, ooh. So that's my GOAT of the Week. It was pretty funny.
That's a big old yikes.
We're gonna add a picture of Andy to this. He's a chungus.
You need to see him.
He looks like King Dedede.
Dude, true.
Speaking of huge, actually, can I go to my GOAT of the Week?
Yeah, absolutely.
My GOAT of the Week is actually our own Dan Carr. Do you want me to tell them, or do you want to say it yourself? I'll do it. Dan has now lost 320 pounds. And look at him now. Yeah, he's got a little work out.
On YouTube, you can see I've slimmed down quite a bit.
I'm down an incredible amount, and I think it's really impressive, man. We're all rooting for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I hope you smell better than before.
He doesn't. I can confirm that he does not.
Well, that can be your next step. But he's my GOAT of the Week for the incredible progress he's made between season 1 and 2. Good job.
The Biggest Loser, but with stinkiness.
Oh yeah. Hey, we got an idea.
Man.
All right, Dan, what's your GOAT of the Week?
That's unbelievable. My GOAT of the Week is Keanu Reeves, not only because I love John Wick 3.
So good.
Great movie. It's so funny to watch that guy just beat people up mercilessly. Oh my gosh. But there's also that wholesome side of him. A report came out this week that said he's been secretly funding children's hospitals for the past however many 8 whatever years or decades. The man's very rich, so he can do whatever he wants with his money. Just kind of a nice, wholesome little thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's
good for Keanu. Great guy.
That is big. Yeah, that is a GOAT move.
Yeah. There's also that thing that he said that he has nobody in his life and he's horribly lonely, which is just,
Wait, does he have a dog in real life?
Dude, I don't even think he has a dog.
Oh, man.
This dude doesn't even have a goldfish, I don't think. I feel bad for the guy.
I'm not sure if that guy sleeps. Something's off about him.
Yeah. But hey, it's a great, wholesome story that he's funding those children's hospitals, so go for you, Keanu.
That was a very wholesome GOAT of the Week, man.
Maybe that'll be my shtick.
Okay, sweet. So that's our segment for season 2. So now we're going to dive into TV personalities. We made a slight change with our formatting for that as well. So we're doing it bracket style. Bracket will probably be on the screen if our senior production intern
So I'm
is on
still
that.
intern.
But you're a senior
Senior.
intern.
I'm 2 senior interns.
Yeah, you're killing it, man.
Moving up in the world.
So we have like matchups between the top 8 of the category each episode. So this one is TV personalities. So we chose the top 8 that we think are the best. And then Dan, do you want to explain like the index?
Yes, so we're taking a more scientific approach, I guess, to this season. And so we have created 5 different categories that we're going to rate each contestant, I guess you could say, in the category this year. So these categories are sustained relevance, influence, or like their pioneeringness. That's a word now.
Yeah.
Their reach, their popularity, and their accomplishments. So each of these categories has a score out of 10, and then whoever has the higher score out of the matchup in the bracket wins and moves on. And so we're not going to reveal to you our scores for the winners of each bracket at the very beginning because we want it to be suspenseful until the very end. We had the final matchup and say, oh, this one got like a 41 and this one got like a 37. So that's kind of how the new style is going to work. And then we're going to have a running GOAT list throughout the season. So whoever wins this episode is going to be obviously our top spot. And then next episode, they're going to be added to the list. And so at the end of every episode, we'll kind of recap and see who's the GOAT of all the GOATs.
This is news to me, actually. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well,
So
get out of Cincinnati and then maybe you'd learn some more.
So it seems a little complicated, I'm sure. But it's pretty, like, essentially we're just putting a number value to the arguments we already talk about, you know, like how much impact they have in the world, like he said, what their influence is. So it's essentially just like organizing all of our arguments and thoughts.
Instead of us just screaming at each other.
So there may be a slight learning curve at first, but we think it is the better method. So anyway, let's dive right in. Our first
number 1.
matchup. Oh, and we did random seeding. Yeah. We figured like an underdog would never win because they have a lower score, so it'd just be kind of pointless. Yeah. So just random seeding. So in the first matchup, we have Ed Sullivan, the host of the Ed Sullivan Show in the mid 1900s, against Oprah Winfrey. I don't think she needs an introduction.
Huge heavy hitter matchup right there.
Okay, so how do we want to do this?
I say we just start talking about like each of them individually, and then we'll kind of bring up our arguments for why we scored them either higher or lower than the other. I'll start with Ed Sullivan. So for those of you who don't know, he hosted kind of like a variety show, kind of one of the first late night shows where he featured musical acts, like dogs jumping on through hula hoops, like stuff like that, kind of just like outlandish, wacky kind of stuff. And then he'd interview people as well on his show. Hugely popular. At the time, he hit the single highest watch rate ever at 82.6%. 82.6% of all the people in the country that were watching television were watching Ed Sullivan, which is insane. It's way bigger than this. That's bigger than it. It's the biggest ever.
I think Super Bowl is like high 30s, low 40s.
That's crazy. But yeah, he is kind of one of the big reasons that the Beatles became big in America. The Beagles, everybody's favorite dog rock group. So they were really big in England, Europe, in around 1962-63, and then in 1964, Ed Sullivan had them on his show, and so what they wanted to do is they wanted to pay them top dollar, but then just kind of throw them like in the middle part of the show. But instead, they paid them bottom dollar so the Beatles could have a prime spot in the show. And he kind of introduced America to the Beatles. 1964, like the England invasion, that's what it was called, whatever. So he was really big for that. He promoted
Elvis.
Yeah.
Elvis was on it a few times, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then he was also big with promoting African American culture and music in the 1960s, which during the civil rights movement, very controversial. But he kind of took that risk and pushed forward that huge aspect of culture that wasn't getting a lot of attention. He has 3 Peabody Awards, a Golden Globe. Very successful career.
Yeah. I think his highest score for me, and I assume for you guys also, was his influence, like pioneering. Just because really that's we kind of take it for granted how many shows are just like that now. Yeah. Like the Tonight Show, late night, all those late night or even like evening talk shows like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, all them are kind of in the mold that Ed Sullivan helped create.
Absolutely.
Like he was that first big star.
Yeah, like Jimmy Fallon and SNL, they'll have like a musical guest every episode. So I think, Kanye West and Lil Pump did. I love it. I think someone had like Oliver Tree, for example. So yeah, they took what he did and incorporate that into every episode. So I think that's a pretty big influence.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised. I was reading about him, and a lot of people didn't think he was very good, but more that the show was. Like, he wasn't a good actor at all. Like, they said he was kind of just so boring that, like, he didn't take away from the acts, kind of, which was sort of good, but
fair.
It's kind of a knock. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's definitely not on his
There was not much Ed Sullivan film available to watch anymore, just because they didn't keep the tapes back then. You know, it was a lot more intensive than, like, I can find old Oprah stuff really easily, you know.
Yeah.
So I can't personally attest to his acting, but from what I've read,
Right.
there was a lot of criticism, especially early on his show.
But even still, like, he still somehow had millions of viewers for over a decade. Like, I think he had over 10 million for over 10 years.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that was a strategy, you know, kind of acting like as a foil, if you will, for the acts. Like, if he's more boring, then his acts just seem that much more theatrical, you know? I don't know. That's maybe giving him a little bit too much credit. But, yeah.
Actually, part of it, really.
Right.
Yeah, like, he didn't take away from the acts at all. Like, he was like the average man. I don't know, that's what I was reading something on it. It was interesting.
Yeah, so I guess, like, a lot of stars wouldn't have been popular if it weren't for him. Like, he put a lot of people on, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. Cameron, you want to talk about Oprah?
A little more on Ed Sullivan. I just want to say that my knocks on him were the sustained relevance.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really know much about Ed Sullivan. He's not talked about that much anymore. He didn't really do anything after the show got canceled. He was really bitter about it. You know, I think his sustained relevance wasn't as big as it could have been, maybe. That was one of the lower scores I gave him. And then awards and accolades. It could be because of the era he was in. But, he didn't win nearly as much as a lot of these people that we're going to be talking about. Like Oprah, you know. So those are the two knocks on him, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I for sustained relevance, I kind of included the impact he had on the music industry as part of his score, you know, like, because he let the Beatles and Elvis Presley and all these artists thrive, like, they were able to kind of carry on his legacy in a way.
I put that in disruption, like influence, pioneer, disruption.
Yeah.
But it just depends on where you put the points. It doesn't change the overall score. Oprah, I thought she would score a little higher than she did, but it was still, you know, she's like a queen of pop culture. Her global appeal, I think, is actually something that I didn't quite realize until I started kind of looking into her more. And she's the only one I gave a reach of 10.
Really?
Out of all these people, I gave her a 10 on reach. She is a massive following around the world. She has her own TV network. She has her own magazine. She's been in movies. She has an Oscar. Like, she's in everything.
Right.
And I think that's incredible. You know, I was looking. I guess she's super popular in the Middle East for some reason. Like, really popular right now. Like, people are watching like reruns of.
Seriously,
Bizarre.
that's interesting.
Yeah, but I think her just stardom is a little greater than a lot of these people, just in like multi-faceted. My biggest knock on her was her, I think, projected sustained relevance. I think she's becoming a little less of a pop culture figure as time goes on. Like, I haven't really seen her in a while. I guess she's working with Apple right now to make content for Apple TV, but I haven't heard anything about that, you know. So I think that's my biggest knock on her, is that she kind of seems like she's peaked. But
yeah, for sure. And I think that a lot, or part of that, is because she was this daytime television star, and daytime television can only get so popular I mean, I don't watch daytime television.
No.
So
We all are still 20-something.
yeah, true. But I think it's kind of dying.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
she's kind of hurt by her own industry in a way.
She was really it when
Yeah,
it was
for sure.
It. She's one of 3 people on our list who have received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Fun fact right there.
Yes.
Yeah, 25 seasons of the show, like, what, 46 Emmys, something like that?
47 Emmys before 2000, and the only reason she doesn't have more is because she stopped submitting her show for consideration.
That's so cool.
That's ridiculous.
That's so cool.
She's like, this is just boring. I don't know. I'm done.
Wiping everybody else.
Yeah.
I think we have 4 that have a Presidential Medal of Freedom, though.
Oh, really?
I think so. Just maybe I'm
We'll see
wrong.
when we go.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But she did. That's the highest civilian honor that you can receive. So it's obviously an incredible accolade, bigger than any Emmy, Oscar. It's like her impact on our country being that great. It's
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Also, like for Reach, I noted the Oprah Book Club. Like whenever she introduced a book on her show, it would instantly become a bestseller. I guess like every book would have 1 million edition sales after she brought it on her show.
That's
so
crazy.
yeah, that's pretty insane. But that was just one point I wanted to point out. So I have Oprah winning this one.
I do too.
Okay.
Oprah with the sweep over Ed Sullivan. Thank you, Ed. But
scores for Ed Sullivan.
Yes, my score was a 34.
I gave him a 36.
I gave him a 30.
Okay.
Whoa, big old knock on Ed.
I didn't even see the Peabody Award, so I originally had his score lower for accomplishments. I didn't find that in my research somehow. So,
Maybe I was wrong.
but
3 on awards because I thought he just won like an Emmy or 2.
right.
Okay.
All right, cool. So we'll.
Give Oprah's score until later.
Yeah.
All right, next matchup. This is a
fun one.
heavyweight. This is a heavyweight fight, if you will.
A heavyweight bout for sure.
Yes. You got Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua, but for TV personalities.
And that's it for the farm this week,
It's
everybody.
coming full circle. All right. Wait.
Ellen and Johnny Carson.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Ellen DeGeneres and Johnny Carson.
I actually don't know. Oh, okay. So both of these people have the same score for me.
So it's going to be up to Cameron
Yeah,
tonight?
it's up to you guys.
buddy.
This was my closest one. It was actually within 1.
Wow.
Wow. It wasn't
Yeah,
that close for
they're.
me.
Yeah. Do one of you guys want to talk about Ellen?
You haven't talked yet.
I've got to talk. I've sprinkled stuff in. Okay, I guess I'll start with her accomplishments: 30 Emmys, 20 People's Choice Awards, also won a Medal of Freedom, and she has 166 Emmy nominations, which is pretty crazy.
Absurd.
I also cited her reach because of like her international presence. She broadcasts in Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Philippines, and a few more. But my one knock on Ellen was that she kind of just took the reins from past talk show hosts. She didn't revolutionize much. I will say she has some like quirky segments.
She was like the dancing at the beginning.
Yeah, the dancing. They analyze like funny tweets. There are some other things like that.
It's not as crazy as like Oprah, where she gave everybody a car.
Right.
Crazy.
I put her a little higher than originally on her like disruption and pioneering because she was like one of the first openly gay stars. And it knocked her off TV for like 4 or 5 years. It was such a big deal, and people were telling her it was going to end her career, that she should not come out. Her agent told her that, her friends told her that, and she still did. And like, now it seems like nothing. Like if like if someone came out as like, they wouldn't ruin their careers, but for her to do that in the 90s, I think it was huge. So I still didn't make her really high because she did kind of copy a template a little bit. But I gave her a little bit more for that pioneering.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's the only one who I gave a popularity. Wait, no, she's not the only one, but she's one of the 2 I gave a popularity of 10, and I think that's because she is so beloved.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Ellen. I've never heard anyone say something negative about Ellen. Like, she's just such a popular figure. even with her big reach, everyone knows Ellen and likes Ellen. So I think that's kind of a little special. You know, like I don't know. It's hard to give her a knock. Like she's so positive.
She's very likable.
Yeah, I took off a couple points just because she is very eccentric and quirky and like bubbly. So I could see like that not appealing to everyone.
Yeah.
You know, we know a lot of like decent, good, wholesome people that like good stuff, but there are a lot of jerks out there who hate like anything that's
Good in this world.
just like a little different or a little unique, you know? So that's not a knock on Ellen by any means. It's just like the nature of how she is.
So bubbly and fun.
Right? So that was
I think she's the only 10 I gave on awards and accolades because of
Really?
the incredible amount of Emmys, like incredible
Yeah,
and the Medal of Freedom.
I gave Oprah
I
a
gave
10.
Oprah a 10.
I gave her a 9.
That's fair.
because
Cool,
I
dude.
think I had a 10 for her, and then I went to Ellen. And I was like, oh well, what's she, an 11? So I gave her a 10.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Johnny Carson.
Here's Johnny.
Dan, why don't you? Yeah.
Says I just opened that one up. So he is one of the first hosts of the Tonight Show. I think there were 2 or 3 before him.
Yeah.
But he is the first wildly successful one. I mean, he was insanely popular. He was there for 30 seasons on the Tonight Show, which is impressive for any career at all. There's that very famous introduction that he has that I just said, here's Johnny. You also could hear it in The Shining. So it has very kind of sustained relevance. Like everyone knows the Johnny Carson show. Like people know that catchphrase. Even if you don't know that's from the Johnny Carson show, I can guarantee you most people have heard "Here's Johnny" in some form.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was from The Shining.
Yeah, but the fact that you even know that, I think, kind of speaks to the fact that his legacy carries on a little bit.
Yeah, true.
I think he has not that many award wins, which is kind of a knock to him. I think he had only 12.
He has a Medal of Freedom.
He actually has a Medal of Freedom.
he
Okay,
does
so that's
too.
the other guy that I don't know. So he does have the Medal of Freedom, which is great, but like Emmys, Golden Globe, stuff like that, he only has, I think, 12 total wins, which isn't... Okay, that's still like crazy impressive. But when you look at everybody else, like
Right.
Oprah, that's just a drop in the bucket for her. And Ellen, the same thing. So, I mean, Johnny Carson again.
Yeah, I rated him really highly on his awards.
Why'd you do that?
I give him a 7
I
out
gave
of
him
10.
a 6.
I gave him a 9.
Really?
I don't understand your criteria, sir.
So why did you give him a 9?
He's got the Peabody. He's got Emmys. He's got like a lot of Lifetime. Lifetime, like the Kennedy Center. Like he's got like every career achievement award you could possibly have.
Yeah, it's true.
I think he's got like a lot of legacy awards.
He has quality over quantity for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, thinking through that, I could bring it to an 8, but I'm standing by the 9. I was really impressed when I was looking through.
Yeah. I mean, he's fantastic. Like, no knocks really against him and what he's done for television and nighttime talk.
Yeah, he like paved the way for Dave Letterman to do what he did. You know, I grew up watching David Letterman. Obviously, I didn't grow up watching Johnny Carson. So I kind of equate the two of them. I feel like they're pretty much the same. You know, like David Letterman was the mentee of Johnny Carson. So to see what David Letterman did, I just translate that to Johnny Carson, and I hold him to really high esteem, even though I never watched him.
Definitely.
I also have a fun fact about Johnny Carson.
Oh, let's hear it.
He and Mr. Rogers had beef. They had beef.
How do you have beef with Mr. Rogers?
So Johnny Carson did like this skit on his show where he was like the anti Mr. Rogers, where he would like eat children or something like that. And Mr. Rogers was like, I don't like that, man. And he apologized, but it was kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
yeah.
Someone else did something like that where they did like a ghetto Mr. Rogers. I think it was
That's funny.
So funny.
It's good.
Like, what a great idea.
All right.
So Ben has a tie.
So I'm tied.
Cameron, who do you have winning this one?
I have Johnny Carson winning it.
I've got Ellen winning.
So I'm the tiebreaker. How does that work?
We're just kind of...
Or do we total? Yeah, we add the score, right?
All right, so Cameron, what was your score for... Oh, wait.
Let's say how much we had him winning by. I had Johnny Carson by 1.
I had Ellen by 7.
Then Ellen's the winner, I believe.
All right.
All right, Ellen moves on. So it's Ellen versus Oprah in the next round.
That's a huge
That's
matchup.
an unstoppable force versus an immovable object right there.
All right. So if
I can't tell my score for Ellen or Johnny Carson because that would give away too much.
True.
But
We'll
it was
get
within
it.
one.
Very true.
It was very, very close.
Cool. So if you follow us on Twitter, actually, if you don't follow us on Twitter,
Follow
do
us
that
on
right
Twitter.
now. If you do follow us on Twitter, it says David Letterman versus Anderson Cooper in the next matchup, but it is actually Jon Stewart versus Anderson Cooper. We felt that Johnny Carson and David Letterman were too similar, and we wanted to get like a political satirist in there. So I want to talk. I'm very high on Jon Stewart, so I kind of want
Go for
to
it.
give my spiel about him. Let's see. I think I gave him a 10 out of 10 for influence and pioneering.
I give him a 9. Very close.
Okay, yeah. I think he was like the first real political satirist.
Yeah.
Colbert kind of took the reins from him. But like Colbert even cites Jon Stewart's influence. There's also this study that I think Penn did where 10% or what was it? Oh, yeah. So fans of The Daily Show had a more accurate idea of the facts of the 2004 presidential election than people who got their news mainly through newscasts and newspapers. So, like, people that are watching a comedy show know more about the news than people who watch the news. So I thought that was cool. Like, he figured out a way to blend comedy and politics, get people more politically informed while being entertained. Because not everyone likes watching the news. Some people like to be entertained. So he kind of figured out a way to mesh the two. So he has 21 Emmys, 3 Peabody Awards. The Peabody Awards are very impressive. Like he won a Peabody Award through a comedy show.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Through the 2000 and 2004 coverage, or election coverage. So that's essentially
When a show was listed on Time's top 100 TV shows of all time, which is
that's a great
pretty good, I guess.
accomplishment. Yeah.
yeah, geez.
So yeah, that's my thing. It's my spiel.
I don't have much more to add to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot. My biggest knock on him was I think this is on purpose. He kind of is taking a step away from the limelight.
Yeah.
His projected sustained relevance, I don't think it's going to be that high, especially because Colbert kind of is filling that role a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But there would also be no Colbert without Jon Stewart.
I put it in influence.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's just a different way of doing it. Yeah, so, but I'd put that in a little knock on him. It's not even a knock on him. It's just for
Right.
goatiness, he's kind of done.
Yeah.
That's
fair. Who's the other guy?
Anderson Cooper.
All right, I want to hear your spiel about Anderson Cooper.
me.
Yeah.
TV guy.
Well, I don't have anything to say about Anderson Cooper. He was my lowest score.
Okay.
He was the lowest.
He was your lowest?
Yeah. I'm not sure why we did Anderson Cooper. Honestly, I thought we could have done any other. We could have done like Glenn Beck. It was just like some random CNN guy. Like I was like, okay, he's got a Peabody.
I mean, he's like the face of news right now,
He's the face of CNN.
which is like one of the most.
Fake news sites out there. Yeah.
He's the face of a top 3 news company.
Right.
Okay, I don't know. I can go through it. Influence, Pioneer Disruption. I gave him a 2. What did he? I almost gave him a 1. I don't know. He just did what other people did. Popular.
So I've 1 point against that. So he did emphasize the importance of like being yourself on air instead of like kind of being this omnipotent, like all-knowing being that a lot of anchors had adopted for a while. So he'll like admit if he doesn't know a lot, or this is what this article said, if he doesn't know a lot about a topic, he'll say if he does. So I thought that was kind of revolutionary in a way. I did have a low score for that too, but that's my 1 point.
I didn't have a high score on any of his. My high score I gave him was a 6.
Not even reach?
Yeah, he reached the entire United States, plus some.
I don't know.
That's
I think if you
significant.
showed a picture of him to people, maybe a third of people would be able to say his name.
Exact opposite. I literally said, I would be shocked to find someone who doesn't know who Anderson Cooper is.
Or at least like recognize his face.
Even the most politically ignorant people have probably heard his name or would recognize his face.
I don't agree with that. I don't know.
Fair enough.
And my parents watch CNN. Like, I've seen him growing up. I think he does a great job.
Do you?
I love him. Gave him the worst score, but love the guy.
Well, I think he's good. It doesn't mean he's a GOAT at all on TV. Like, 20 years from now, am I going to remember him? No.
Maybe.
I give him a
Still
23.
gonna be on CNN.
Give him a 23 out of 50.
That was 23.
My lowest score. Yeah. One lower. Or he was below Guy Fieri.
That's remarkable.
Well, that kind of segues us into our next matchup.
Wait, I've one last fun fact about him. By the time this episode is published, it will be his birthday. It's his birthday tomorrow.
Well, happy birthday, Anderson, if you're
Happy
watching.
birthday, Anderson Cooper.
If you're one of our
If you're
25 listeners.
Donate to our Patreon, baby. I
Come
know
on,
you're a
Anderson.
millionaire.
Don't think I'm flaming him, but
No, you're not.
No,
I
you're
get
just like
that.
hating on him. It's cool. Like, whatever, man.
we didn't put Tucker Carlson on here. Like, who?
That's
He's
true.
he's the face of Fox News. Like,
Yeah. No, that's true.
So, it's safe to say we all have Jon Stewart winning this matchup.
Yeah.
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 On to the next.
In a landslide victory.
Um,
Last matchup is Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers versus Guy Fieri.
so, I'll let you two talk about Guy.
Okay.
The GOAT?
I gave him a 50.
Why I gave him 1 point higher on accident. I didn't even mean to do it. I just rated them both, added them up, and he was 1 point higher than Anderson Cooper.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fair. That's fair.
Okay. Well, his popularity is a 10.
Math is fair.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
His popularity is a 10
Yeah, okay.
compared to reach. I think where I probably put him higher than other people is in influence, pioneer, and disruption. I gave him a 5.
I give him a 5.
I give him a 5 too.
Well,
We all did.
I read
Let's
this.
go.
I read this clip.
5 on reach, too.
I
I got him at 24. That's not very high.
Yeah, I have a 25 for him, actually.
27. Wow, look at me liking Guy Fieri the most.
Yeah, what the
So,
heck?
so my negative was, I was just more negative on Anderson Cooper. But
Yeah.
my thing on Guy Fieri that kind of surprised me, I thought he was going to score lower, is he kind of like, the Food Network's a big, like major player right now on TV.
That was my same point for sure.
Huge network. And he's like one of the leading people, like that kind of, like 10 years ago, like everyone knows Guy Fieri. And like, he's on like the Food Network, like some random,
Right.
it was just this random small little, and they took him and he kind of made them into not him himself, but he was one of the biggest players in making them into a major network.
Absolutely.
Well, I think he's the longest tenured mayor of Flavortown, actually.
That's one of the highest accolades of any of these candidates.
Huge political icon.
Yeah.
This is more about politics than Anderson Cooper ever could.
Impressive. Guy Fieri impressed me a little bit on his overall impact. He's really popular, obviously. People think he's funny. Despite being, a host of a show on Food Network, he's wildly popular.
Or he just eats.
Yeah, he's like a pop culture figure at this point. Like his hair, how he dresses, is hilarious.
Yeah, there was this clip from the New York Times that said that Fieri, or in 2010, Fieri brought an element of rowdy mass market culture to American food television. And that's so true. Like, he made it really exciting, entertaining. I guess
in life, yeah.
Yeah, I guess like his show attracted more male viewers than any other show on the Food Network. And then like Action Bronson was kind of taking what he did.
Yeah.
With his cooking shows. So
Pretty good.
Yeah,
One
definitely.
biggest knock, awards and accolades.
Yo, he has a Emmy for a special
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
he's the mayor of Flavortown.
That's it. I'm giving him a 10 for accomplishments.
Yeah, so I gave him a 1 on that.
Yeah,
One
that's
Emmy.
fair, that's fair.
My uncle has more Emmys than him. Like, I don't know.
We have as many accolades
Yeah,
as
yeah.
he does.
Yeah, more
That's
accolades than Guy Fieri, so I'm going to... He got a little knock there.
All right, Dan, I want you to talk about Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Dan probably loves him. I don't even need
He
to
loves
know.
him. He
I
loves
love
him.
Mr. Rogers. So, yeah, for those of you that don't know, I'm a huge Mr. Rogers proponent, fan. Just who he is as a person and kind of what he tried to accomplish through his television show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. There was how many seasons? 32 seasons. 32 seasons. This man was on television. And he took kind of a different approach to a kid's show. I feel like right now, if I was a parent, you see a lot of people throwing like an iPad in front of a kid and saying, go crazy, or throwing Nickelodeon, having cartoons, whatever. Not that that's necessarily bad for the kid. Your kid's just gonna end up like Ben or Cameron, but
I wasn't allowed to have a portable gaming device.
Me either. I was allowed to have a DS, game play, any of that.
crazy.
I was really butthurt. All my friends had like
Oh,
Game Boy
I was
SPs
so mad.
playing Pokemon Ruby. I was like,
Dang, that's a big loss.
I want a Charizard, man.
That's why as soon as I got an iPhone, I ported Nintendo and ruined my high school. Like, it's like playing Pokemon when I was like way too old. You know.
Definitely. But so again, like back to like what he kind of did. His whole thing was trying to educate kids on issues that necessarily people think that they shouldn't be talking about. He did like after the assassination of John F. Kennedy, he did an episode about like death and assassinations. He's talked about racial issues. He had a kid, like a disabled kid, on his show who later was there to present him an award at a show. It's like the most wholesome video ever. This guy, I mean, he's like 30 at this point. He rolls out in his wheelchair on the stage, and Mr. Rogers stands up. And instead of just sitting there clapping, he gets onto stage with this guy and like gives him a big old hug. It's the sweetest thing you've ever seen in your life. And he reached kids all over the country. He died in 2002, I think. Maybe a little later than that.
I think 2003.
2003. So yeah, he was a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He has Peabody, TV Hall of Fame. His sweater is hanging in the Smithsonian Museum in American history, which is so cool. And he was very knowledgeable about children's education. He testified in 2 different Supreme Court cases about the effect of television on kids and like educational resources for children, which I think is fantastic. And even now, even though he is deceased at this point, I miss you, buddy. Yeah, there's last year there was a movie made about him, and there's an upcoming movie being made about him with Tom Hanks, another great guy, big fan. And so he has that kind of sustained impact. And there's also he has this quote, I forget what the exact one is. It's like, in times of trouble, always look for helpers. There's always going to be people helping. And that really circulated a lot during a lot of the mass shootings within the past 8 years or whatever. You'll see that on Twitter a lot. And it kind of brings a sense of light almost to dark times, which I think what kind of represents him as a person. He wanted to make everybody happy, make the world a better place. And I think he completely accomplished that through his show. Leaves a great legacy, very wholesome. You know, won't you be my neighbor? Like, come on, man. Like, how do you hate on this guy? I just think he has a very great career with no scandal. You guys you called him a pedophile once, but he's not a pedophile.
Yeah, he seems like a diddler.
He's
I
just
know he's
kind of
not.
creepy. He's a little something's off.
Which is like sad. Like that's like sad when people say he's creepy, because like that's sad that we look at guys or people that genuinely care about kids and they're.
I know, it was a joke.
Yeah,
I don't actually think.
but see, there was I was like looking it up to make sure there wasn't actually stuff, and there was a lot of people saying, "Oh, but he probably did anyway." It's just so sad sometimes, but
Yeah, it's true.
And I removed all bias. Like when I watch it, yeah, I think it's creepy, but I didn't put that. You know, I removed that when I was grading him. He got a high grade. Really impressive. Seems like a great guy. Kind of seems a little Joe Biden-y to me.
I don't think he had that much reach after doing some research. Like, his average rating was 0.7%.
Right, yeah.
It's like 680,000 hums.
I give him a low reach score.
Yeah, mine was.
And also, I also gave him a knock for sustained relevance, just because, unfortunately, I feel like these educational shows, like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street, Blue's Clues, are being replaced with shows like, they replaced with like SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents. Now it's like Phineas and Ferb, Dog with a Blog, which is great.
Cheater.
What's wrong with that, bro? The dog has a blog. Like, what do you not understand about that?
But that's just kind of a knock on television.
Yeah, that itself as opposed to his legacy.
Him. Okay, I have Mr. Rogers winning this one.
Me too.
Me too.
Yeah,
Guy Fieri
cool.
with 24. Not enough to
25.
unseat Rogers. I would give the 27. Like, where are these points coming from?
I gave him a little too much credit. I feel bad giving people low scores. I don't know.
Like where? Like, I just wanted, like, sustained relevance.
Like, the most points came from popularity.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, sustained relevance, he got like a 4 just because he's still kind of popular now. But
I gave him a 3 there.
And then influence reach 5.5. Accomplishments, I should have given him a 0, but I gave him a 3 because I'm a nice guy.
Oh, okay, so there we go. I was going to say, like, where are these points coming from? The 3, there we go. All right.
So that's what that was.
All right, cool. Should we take a break before we move on to the other rounds?
Yeah, we'll take a quick
call.
break. Peace. All right, welcome back, everyone. So we're gonna go into our semifinals. We have Oprah versus Ellen, the two talk show queens, in our first semifinal. How do you want to do this? We already.
This one's kind of close.
Points.
Like, how close was this for you guys? Because this was right there for me.
Not that close. Within 6.
Okay, well, should we just say our winners for this one?
Sure.
Mine's Oprah.
Oprah.
It's Ellen.
Why?
Are you serious?
Defend
Why?
defend yourself. Defend yourself.
Okay, all right. I had her winning in projected sustained relevance. I had her losing in reach, but winning in popularity and winning in awards and accolades.
I don't know how you have her winning in accomplishments and accolades.
Yeah.
She has 47 Emmys and would probably have 100 if she continued to submit her show.
Ellen's only been around for like 15 years.
So is Oprah. Oprah?
30, bro. Ellen has nearly as many, I feel like.
But it's because Oprah stopped.
She has 31 wins,
Who? Ellen?
Ellen. And 31 daytime, 1 primetime.
Sure.
Including.
All right, fair. I think they both deserve 10s.
I
if
give them
anything.
both tens. Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know. I had her in 2 points there. I had her in 3 points popularity because I think despite Oprah's huge reach,
Did Oprah have 3 for popularity?
Did I add
7.
these correctly?
I got her 7,
Okay.
but I gave
Me too.
Ellen a 10.
Wait,
So
I may have added these wrong.
I just don't know. I have Ellen at
Wait. Sorry, continue.
I have Ellen 6 higher. It wasn't that close to me. I expected Oprah to score higher.
That's
I
crazy.
think the biggest one is projected sustained relevance.
Wait, what did you put for influence?
5 and for Ellen and 6 for Oprah.
Jeez.
I put a
give
3
Oprah-
for Ellen for influence.
I put Oprah as higher, like for influence. I gave her a 9. She
I
changed
put
her
Ellen
name.
up
I had
there
6
for LGBTQ. Like
Ah,
her.
fair. I didn't really consider that as a argument.
Neither of them were really that pioneering in their actual show.
I mean, Oprah's show was crazy and different. Like, she does, like, the Oprah's 25 Days of Giveaways kind of stuff, like
Book club.
book club. Like, when you compare that to, like, the David Letterman format, where it's just interview, kind of musical act.
Added things to daytime show, I guess. That's
Yeah,
why
like,
it's.
a whole lot of different aspects to it, a little unpredictability.
I mean, I put it at a 6. It wasn't a 0. She did have an impact. I don't know. It added up. I think Ellen. She was my runner-up behind
Wow.
Johnny Carson.
That's crazy. That's fair. They're within 4 for me, which is pretty.
I thought it
Pretty
wasn't
close.
close. I thought Ellen and
Ellen.
Johnny Carson were
Yeah,
in a
they're
league
close
of their own when I was doing it.
Hey, man, I respect it. I do respect your take.
Interested that it wasn't that close for you guys.
I mean, it was within 4 points.
Yeah. It was closer than that for me.
6 for me. So, all right.
Wow.
And now, I guess I could say my
so-
2 highest. No, I won't. I'll give away my 2 highest scores later. But all right. So
Okay.
Oprah goes to the finals then.
Oprah's in the finals, baby.
All right, now we have.
Jon Stewart
Jon
versus Mr. R.
I have a
Alright.
tie.
Oh, yeah, you had a tie?
Uh-huh.
Whoa. Did Ben, you have a tie too?
No.
Oh.
I have a clear winner.
Good.
You have Johnny Stewart, don't you?
Your friend?
Clear winner?
Clear winner. Clear winner.
I have Rodgers by 4.
Ooh! Ooh.
So Cameron's our tiebreak.
Wait, how did we do it last time? Oh, no, we added them. We added the scores, right?
Yeah.
So, so we had the differences?
Oh, dang it.
Is that a full tie?
Actually, it's not as close as
How
I
much did
thought.
you have Johnny winning by?
By 5.
Oh. John
much
Stewart
did
by
you have?
1.
4.
Let's go! Let's
What
go!
did you have so much more for Jon Stewart than Mr. Rogers?
He had a 10 for influence, a 9 for accomplishments and accolades, and an 8 for sustained relevance, which might have been a little high.
Oh, I didn't give him close.
That might
to
have been.
for
I mean, that
sustained
might have been
relevance.
generous.
I give him a 3 on sustained relevance. But
I
I
gave him a 4.
I
Alright,
put
well.
Colbert into disruption influence.
But I gave Stewart a 10 for accomplishments.
Huh?
I gave Stewart a 10 for accomplishments.
Rogers had a 4 out of 10 for relevance and a 4 out of 10 for reach. Those are the only ones that hurt him because he had a 10 out of 10 in popularity.
I gave him a 5 out of 10 on relevance, and I only gave him a 5 out of 10 on influence, popularity, like pioneering.
Oh, really? I
Really?
had an 8, yeah.
8? Okay, yeah,
So
I kind of see where you go with that.
reasonable with my scores. There's no funny business going on here. All right.
Rigged. It's over. I'm leaving the podcast.
All right. So in the finals, we have Jon Stewart versus Oprah Winfrey.
I'm so mad.
Can you imagine not getting either of the finalists?
All right. Who do you have, Ben?
I have Oprah.
I got Oprah by 1.
So Jon Stewart? By 1.
Something's wrong.
By 1.
I've got Oprah by 7
Bro.
over Jon Stewart.
Oh my gosh. What's with you and Oprah, bro? You're like obsessed with Oprah.
I'm not obsessed with Oprah. I just think that Oprah is that high of a tier, upper echelon TV
And Johnny
personality.
Carson at 7 over
Shut
Oprah.
up, Cameron. No one cares about Johnny Carson.
7 over Oprah.
Wait, you had Oprah? Or Jon Stewart?
Between
Between
Oprah and Jon Stewart, who did you
Oh,
have
I had
over
Oprah. I had Oprah by 1.
By what? That's reasonable. By 7? Okay. Like, Oprah wasn't the first talk show host. Like, Jon Stewart made a whole new thing with political satire. He made this whole thing.
Yeah, I don't understand the Oprah hype, bro.
I don't get it either. I don't get
I
it.
feel like that's also because you watched Jon Stewart growing up, right? Or like not growing up, but like you've watched.
I watched Colbert.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I did
kind
too.
of like the same
Same
spiel. Like
Because, like,
Ellen, too. Yeah. But
I don't watch-
Johnny Carson was my top one, and I don't care about Johnny
yeah,
Carson.
fair.
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Oprah is like a juggernaut. When you think like TV personalities, you think Oprah. It is Oprah. She is the GOAT. She is.
Ellen's way goatier than Oprah.
So, like, if you...
Ellen's in movies.
So
If
is Oprah.
She does stand up. What? She does like random like.
She was just in a movie like 2 years ago.
Who?
Oprah.
Oh, with, like, a minor role.
Wasn't she like the? I don't remember what the. It was Wrinkle in Time.
She probably plays Oprah
Oh,
in
I was thinking
movies.
something else. What am I thinking of?
No, she had like a significant role in Wrinkle in
Oh,
Time.
okay.
She was in a different one too.
All right. I mean, she wasn't Dory, but
She wasn't Dory.
I don't know, man.
But we're also talking TV personalities here.
Yeah, exactly.
And not her movies don't count.
You ever
Out of
watched Oprah?
consideration.
You
What?
ever watched Oprah, bro? It's brutal.
Have you ever watched Oprah?
I actually have. I watched her 25 Days of Giveaways. But that's also from my lens as a 22-year-old male. I'm not going to enjoy Oprah as much on the wide scale that she was popular.
Like Dr. Oz telling people to like try crazy, wacky things instead of going to the doctor, bro. Like,
Are you talking about Dr. Oz right now?
yeah, Oprah put him on.
You mean Dr. Phil?
No, Dr. Oz.
Who's Dr. Oz?
Where?
Maybe I do.
You know Dr. Oz.
Oh, bro, you know Dr. Oz, bro?
Ozzy, bro. It's
Oz,
Ozzy.
bro.
Yeah, Dr. Oz got his own thing from Oprah, even though he's kind of a whack job.
Oh, he's a nut job. And I
I
don't know.
He's wacky for sure.
I mean, what did Oprah do for television? Like, she led to The Maury Show and The Jerry Springer Show. That was pretty much it.
But she just attracted so many. She like made daytime television such a big thing by bringing people to her show because you're never gonna know what to expect next.
So I
like
think-
the Tom Cruise interview when he jumped up on the couch and was all wah.
To me, she's a worse version of Ellen.
You really like Ellen.
Okay, so I think
Everyone likes Ellen.
I think my main point is that is not on Oprah, but about what she represents. Like, I think that political satire is a lot more impactful and influential in the world than daytime television.
Well, yeah, as a whole, yeah, but you like you said, whenever she brought a new book on there, millions of sales.
That's true.
Like when she brought people on, like it was a huge big deal. Like I don't know, like when she had like her, as soon as she brought something onto her show, it became a huge deal.
No, it's true, the Oprah effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I get that.
Like I think that's what puts her, just her outstanding reach, relevance, popularity, that she kind of revolutionized the whole game.
Oprah was my third on the list by one.
Right behind.
Ellen.
No, right above Jon Stewart and Fred Rogers in a tie for fourth.
Interesting. I gave Oprah a 42.
That's insane.
What'd you give her?
A 38.
That's what you give Jon Stewart.
No, you got a 39.
Jon Stewart got a 39? Mm-hmm.
He won by 1. That's what I told you.
Oh, yeah. I gave Jon Stewart a 35, too.
That's craziness.
Johnny Carson was my top at 43.
43 for Johnny Carson.
I give him a 34.
I gave him a 33.
I maybe could have inflated the reach a little bit. 4 out of 10 is kind of brutal for Johnny Carson.
4 out of 10?
Well, like I said, I couldn't find anything about the TV ratings.
Yeah, okay.
Or I didn't know how many people watched the show, and that's just kind of because I didn't watch him. I didn't grow up in a time, as I've said multiple.
Wait, you don't know who Johnny Carson is?
He made the Tonight Show the Tonight Show.
No, that's true.
Yeah, he did. The biggest show on television, probably. Probably the most important show. If you host the Tonight Show, you're huge.
It's up there.
I can't think of a higher one.
Oprah.
That's daytime.
Yeah, daytime TV doesn't count.
Oh, man, I'm so upset. Okay, well, Oprah wins. Oprah is our GOAT TV personality. So how are we doing her score?
I think we should do the average of the three of us.
Okay.
So, Ben, what did you give her? A 22?
38, man. Okay, in my defense, no one got above 40. All right.
I gave Oprah a 36.
Wild. I gave her a 42.
That's ridiculous.
Which means her middle was...
But I also
40?
gave multiple people
39?
over 40.
I gave 2 people over 40.
Was she 39.5?
Who was the lowest score out of everybody? What was your lowest score?
Mine was Guy Fieri at 27.
27.
Mine was Guy at 25.
Mine was Anderson Cooper at 23. But Guy was at 24, so not much.
All right, so Oprah is our GOAT at 38.67 points. Congratulations, Oprah. You hold the number 1 spot in our GOAT leaderboard.
Right?
I'm so angry.
It should just be 38. No, it's 3. Never mind.
I feel like it should be 39. Whatever. It's...
Oh, no, it is, yeah.
I'm not going to argue with the calculator.
Yeah, 38.67 is Oprah's final GOAT score. She's number 1 on the leaderboard. Next week, we're going to add someone else.
And they will just easily overtop. I'm going to inflate all my scores to knock Oprah off our GOAT. I can't do it. I can't have her be our GOAT.
Yeah, so it's important that all the scores are relative to their own category,
Yeah.
right? So it's obviously if we're doing inventions, the internet is a lot better than Oprah, but it's relative to the topic.
Dude, what?
All right, I think that is all for this week. Stay tuned for next week. Topic to be determined. All right, and follow us on Twitter and donate to our Patreon.
And if you're listening on Apple Music or Spotify, watch us on YouTube. The Farm Podcast on YouTube. We have a video aspect. You can look at our bright, shining faces.
You can see our ugly mugs.
Our ugly mugs.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. Peace. Peace. Peace.